my grandparents had lived through the Civil War in Ireland and the British Army being in Ireland at that time, the Black and Tans they were called, brutalizing the unarmed population. It was bad. I won't go into all that. But I listened to those stories as a kid. And then we came to this country. In a different sense, there was a continuation of those old stories because my family was really close-knit, and we had parties almost every weekend that were just all Irish. You know, the music, the food, everything. You know, so there was, it was always there in the back of my mind. You know, and then I went into, you know, became a gang member at 14 or 15. I started hanging with the Mullins and playing football. I joined the Marines. I got out. I did 4 years in the Marine Corps. Got out when I was 21. That was in '66. In '69, the Civil Rights Movement started in Northern Ireland. And I watched it. It was getting good coverage in this country. And I watched them being beat down and brutalized and shot with rubber bullets and all that shit that they did over there. And I decided I've got to do something. So at first, it was financial aid. There was a group called Irish Northern Aid, and they raised money to help the people over there. So we'd go around to all the bookies and drug dealers, and we'd get donations off them, and we'd give it to Irish Northern Aid people. Around '74, we were given a different request. There was an IRA guy in South Boston that we were introduced to through people that knew that he was legit, not a fake, and he needed weapons, and we had a lot of weapons. We always kept a lot of weapons. We stored weapons. We bought and collected weapons whenever they were available. Someone's always robbing houses or other things, and there's always weapons for sale. Back then, almost every barroom you could go in and order a pistol, and you'd have it within 24 hours. You know, so we had a lot of weapons, as time proved. But I think at that point he needed something like 25 revolvers, 357s, and 44 Magnums is what he requested, and we went and got it for him almost immediately. Within an hour, we brought him a gym bag back with all the weapons. So they kind of took a liking to us. And that went on every year. They'd come with what we call a wish list. One of them would show up that we knew was legitimate, and they'd have the list. And it grew to the point by 1982, we started having vans, Dodge vans. We'd buy them, and there was 4-inch space on the floor that, I don't know why it was there, but it was there. We figured out it was there. And we started having the vans. We'd buy brand new vans and convert them. You know, first we'd measure the height. So when we lowered it up, we'd put shocks on so we could pump it back up to that height. We would take the seats out, measure them, and then cut them. So when we put them back in, you're not sitting 4 inches higher hitting the roof. Because it was a brand new van, you could order the rugs and stuff that came with them. You could get that, and we changed the whole floor, so it became a hydraulic floor. It would open, and we'd line the floor, the 4-inch space that we created. We'd line that with whatever the weapons were that they had asked. Usually, back then they were looking for AK-47s, ammunition, electronic detonators, and C4. And we'd put them all in there together, the detonators and the C4. They had to go at the same time. And then we would pump in warm foam, not hot, warm foam, and the hydraulics would put the floor back down with the new rug, glued on it and stuff, and put the seats back in. We got vans with all windows, so they was wide open. And I'd drive them up to Newark, New Jersey, and go through customs up there. Ironically, when you're leaving the country, they don't really look. Anything leaving America gets just. We used to put vans on. There was always freighters, Polish freighters that were going to Europe. It'd take 2 weeks from New Jersey, and it would end up in Le Havre, France. And I'd fly over, and meet the IRA guys in Paris, and we drive down to Le Havre, and I give them the paperwork. We pick names out of the phone book in Boston randomly, and that's how we ship everything. They don't check anything when you're leaving. You know, you just you drive through customs. It looks like a toll booth, but different sized vehicles getting different lanes. You just drive in. Customs guys, you hop out, give them the keys. They look through whatever markers they were in. You leave. They take care of it from there. They get it aboard the ship, dog it down, and all that stuff. And then I'd fly over to, like I said, France, and I'd go with those guys down to Le Havre to get it. They'd send, at that point, it's theirs. So you send someone in. We did our end. And they'd get it, drive it to different garages they had, and then I'd show them how to get underneath them, which bolts to release, so the hydraulics would open. And once they'd seen how that was, I'd leave. My job was done. I'd go spend a few nights in Paris with one or two friends, and then I'd fly back to Boston. You know, after '84, the request became too large for the vans. The last thing we did for them was the Valhalla, and that was 7 tons of weapons, ammunition, sniper rifles from Germany. We had everything on that load. So there was an Irish smuggling group, Irish-American, Murray's, the Murrays out of Charlestown, and we went to them and more or less made them get a ship, a boat, a fishing boat, a Valhalla, pay for all the fuel. Fuel's expensive. I mean, they paid for everything, you know, and we, including their crew. He had a crew. He had a seasoned crew that were smugglers. They were not coke. They were pot smugglers. That's how they made their money. That's why they had fishing boats. So he had 2 basic guys that were the captain and the mechanic, and we put 4 more guys aboard who were seasick the whole trip. They thought, I don't know what they were thinking, but I think they thought they were going on kind of a nice cruise. They just had to load, and then unload on the other end. They had no idea what the North Atlantic was like. And 2 of them will never go near the ocean again, they tell me. They don't want to be out there anymore. That was a big load. That was 7 tons of, I think we had 100 assault rifles, 50 shotguns. We had there's a Steyr sniper rifle that at the time West Germany made, a beautiful weapon. We had those on there. We had 60,000 rounds of ammo. We had rockets, the cutout models on how to. The list is too long to go through, but we had everything on there.